Godan. By Chand. Hori Ram fed both his oxen and said to his wife Dania, "Send Gobar to weed the sugar-cane field. I don't know when I'll return. Just give me my staff, Lottie." Dania's hands were covered in cow dung. She had just finished making cow dung cakes. She said, "Hey, at least have some refreshment, Rozpani. What's the hurry?" Hori wrinkled his wrinkled forehead and said, "You are worried about refreshments, while I am worried that if I get late, I won't be able to meet the master, Malik. If he starts his bath and prayers, hours will pass by just sitting there. That's why I'm saying, have a little breakfast. And even if you don't go today, what's the harm? You just went the day before yesterday." "Brother, why do you poke your nose into things you don't understand? Give me my staff and mind your work. It is the prasad, blessing of keeping up these appearances that our lives are still spared. Otherwise, who knows where we would be? There are so many people in the village who hasn't faced eviction or attachment of property. When one's neck is pressed under someone else's feet, the only wisdom lies in massaging those feet." Dania was not so tactful. Her view was that since they plowed the landlord's fields, he would obviously take his rent. Why flatter him? Why lick his boots? Although in these 20 years of married life, she had experienced well that no matter how much you skimp and save, how much you starve yourself, or how much you hold onto every single penny, it is nearly impossible to clear the land tax. Yet she would not give up, and a battle would break out between the husband and wife on this subject almost every day. Out of her 6 children, only 3 were now alive. One boy, Gobar, about 16 years old, and 2 girls, Sona and Rupa, 12 and 8 years old. 3 sons had died in childhood. Her heart still said today that if they had received proper medical care, they would have survived, but she couldn't even manage to get a single penny's worth of medicine. And what was her own age right now? Only 36, but all her hair had turned gray and wrinkles had appeared on her face. Her entire body had withered, her beautiful wheatish complexion had turned sallow, and her eyesight had begun to dim. It was all due to the worry of the stomach. She never knew the happiness of life. This permanent state of decay had turned her self-respect into a form of indifference. Why so much flattery for a household where one couldn't even get enough bread to fill the belly? In this situation, her mind rebelled constantly. Only after receiving a few scoldings did she realize the reality. Defeated, she brought Hori's staff, jacket, mers, shoes, turban, and tobacco pouch and threw them down in front of him. Hori glared at her and said, "Do I have to go to my in-law's house that you've brought all 5 items of attire? There isn't a young sister-in-law sitting in the in-law's house for me to go and show off to." A faint smile appeared on Hori's deep dark, sunken face. Dania said shyly, "You are such a well-dressed young man that the sisters-in-law would be charmed just by looking at you." Hori carefully folded his torn jacket and placed it on the cot, saying, "So what do you think? Have I become old? I haven't even turned 40 yet. Men are young bulls at 60. Go and look at your face in a mirror. Men like you aren't young bulls at 60. You don't even get milk or ghee to apply to your eyes, and you think you're a bull. Seeing your condition, I keep withering away, wondering how this old age will pass. At whose door will we beg?" Hori's momentary softness was scorched away in this fire of reality. Handling his staff, he said, "The situation of reaching 60 won't even arise, Dania. We'll depart before that." Dania scolded him. "All right, stop it. Don't let such inauspicious words out of your mouth. Even if someone says something good to you, you start cursing." Hori put the staff on his shoulder and left the house. Dania stood at the door watching him for a long time. Hori's hopeless words had sent a terrifying shiver through her wounded heart. Through the penance and vows of her womanhood, she was giving her husband a boon of fearlessness, a Godan. From her inner soul, a fortress of blessing seemed to emerge and hide Hori within it. In this bottomless ocean of poverty, her marriage, Sohag, was the only straw she was clutching to cross the ocean. Even being close to reality, these inconsistent words gave her such a shock, as if they wanted to snatch that straw from her hand. Rather, because of being close to reality, they had gained so much painful power. The sorrow a blind man feels upon being called blind. Can a man with 2 eyes ever feel that? Hori kept walking. Seeing the waving greenery of the sugarcane plants on both sides of the trail, he said in his heart, Oh God, if only there's a good harvest in the village and the price is right, I will definitely buy a cow. Domestic cows neither give milk nor are their calves of any use. At most, they might work in an old press. No, he would buy a patchai cow. He would serve it well. If nothing else, there would be 4 or 5 Sears liters of milk. Gobar yearns for milk. If he doesn't eat or drink at this age, when will he? If he drinks milk even for a year, he'll be worth looking at. The calves will also turn out to be good oxen. They won't be worth less than 200. After all, a cow adds beauty to the doorstep. If one gets to see a cow first thing in the morning, what more could one ask for? Who knows when this wish will be fulfilled, when that auspicious day will come. Like every householder, the longing for a cow had been accumulated in Hori's heart for a long time. This was the biggest dream of his life, his greatest desire. How could the vast ambitions of earning bank interest, buying land, or building a palace fit into his tiny heart? The sun of the month of Jeth, mid-May to mid-June, emerging from a cluster of mango trees, was climbing up, lending brightness to the sky with its silver glory, and the air was beginning to heat up. Farmers working on both sides of the fields would see him, greet him with ram, and invite him to smoke the chillum out of respect. But where did Hori have such leisure? The honor-seeking desire sitting inside him was making his dry face glow with pride upon receiving such respect. This was the prasad, reward of meeting and greeting the masters, that everyone respected him. Otherwise, who would care for him? What was the worth of a farmer with 5 bighas of land? It was no small honor that even maidos, village heads with 3 or 4 plows each, would bow their heads before him. Now, leaving the trail between the fields, he came to a marshy area where water used to collect during the rains, and even in Jeth, some greenery was visible. The cows from nearby villages used to come here to graze. At that time, there was some freshness and coolness in the air here too. Hori took 2 or 3 deep breaths. His heart felt like sitting here for a while. He had to die in the scorching heat all day anyway. Many farmers were ready to take a lease for this hollow ground and were offering good money. But God bless Rai Sahab, he clearly said that this land has been left for the animals to graze and will not be taken up at any price. If it were some selfish landlord, he would have said, "Let the cows go to hell, we're getting money, why should we let it go?" But Rai Sahab still follows the old traditions. A master who doesn't look after his subjects, is he even a human being? Suddenly, he saw Bola coming this way with his cows. Bola was a cowherd, Gwala, from a nearby hamlet and did business in milk and butter. Sometimes, if he got a good price, he would even sell cows to the farmers. Hori's heart longed to see those cows. If Bola would give him that front cow, then what to say? He would keep paying the money bit by bit. He knew there was no money in the house. The land tax hadn't been paid yet, and Baisesar Saw's debt was still pending, on which interest was piling up. But in poverty, there is a kind of short-sightedness, a shamelessness that is not afraid of demands, insults, or even beatings. It encouraged him. The desire that had been agitating his mind for years now made him restless. Going near Bola, he said, "Ram Bola Bai, tell me what's going on. Heard you've brought new cows from the fair this time." Bola replied curtly. He had sensed what was in Hori's heart. "Yes, I brought 2 heifers and 2 cows. The previous cows had all gone dry. If milk doesn't reach the Bandai customers, how will we survive?" Hori put his hand on the flank of the approaching cow and said, "She looks like a good milker. For how much did you buy her?" Bola showed off. "The market was very expensive this time, Mato. Had to pay 80 rupees for this one." My eyes popped out. Paid 30 rupees each for both heifers. On top of that, the customer wants a seer of milk for 8 paisa. "There's no doubt. It's a big heart you've got, brother. But you've brought such quality that you won't find it with anyone in 10-5 villages around here." Bola started getting intoxicated with the praise. He said, "Rai Sahab was offering 100 rupees for this. For both heifers, 50-50 rupees, but we didn't give. God willing, I'll recover 100 rupees in this one calving." "There's no doubt in that, brother. What will the masters eat? If they get it in tribute, Nazrana, they might take it. It's only the courage of people like you who count out the money relying on fate. My heart just wants to keep looking at her. Blessed is your life that you serve the cows so much. We don't even have cow dung available. What a shame that there isn't even one cow in a householder's home. Years pass by, and we don't even get to see Gora's milk products. My wife says again and again, "Why don't you tell Bolabeya?" I say, "I will tell him when we meet."